here. Has agreed sending another village chief to hold a meeting. The Archon quest. Akasha pulses. The Kalpa flame rises. So, here's the deal, though. I gotta somehow rescue Nahida from that weird little emerald prison inside the Academia chamber. And I have to defeat a freaking godlike boss.
We're here!
Also, Patrick, don't.
Flashback.
Awkward. No. No, Patrick. No. Bad Patrick! Bad Patrick!
End of flashback.
Has everyone arrived?
Everyone is already waiting inside.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's join them!
Prison break. What? Oh yeah.
Please. Wait a moment. Before attending the meeting, I hope you can promise me one thing.
Is it gonna cause me to break it later and then you're like, oh, you should have, why did you promise? Why did you promise? That type of thing.
What do you need?
Promise me that you won't commit to anything too reckless.
Oh, okay. Like, you're gonna... It is gonna be one of those decisions where I'm gonna have to make a reckless decision and you're gonna hold it against me later on. You're gonna take it personal, aren't you?
What do you think?
I'll try not to, but if the situation changes...
Okay.
I feel... Wow, the shortest frickin' cutscene before the main Archon quest. Enter the village's chief house. So yes, we're doing a prison break. We're breaking God out of prison. That's one way of saying it. We're breaking God out of prison!
Everyone's here so early! But why isn't anybody talking?
Because everybody's nervous about breaking God out of prison. Has it ever been done before?
We already discussed things a bit.
We talked. We're quiet. Now you stop talking and be quiet.
Hey, where have you been? I've missed you too.
Yeah, well, I got you, so I might have you along.
Are you ready?
No. But I'll say yes. Because that's the point of the quest.
Very well.
Okay. After some discussion, debate, the crew finally works out a detailed plan together.
Are you sure this is gonna work?
Why does the text go so fast? I have to read it fast. Are you sure this is gonna work? And somebody else is like, it has to work. We planned it really well.
I gotta admit, it's bold. Color me impressed.
So it might.
It's worth a try.
You sound like you have no confidence in it, and neither do I, and I'm pretty much leveled with you there.
The point of discussion is to arrive at a solution. Let's cut the small talk and move to the next point.
Agreed. That's also something I'm gonna have to add to my list of things I'm gonna have to add today.
You're making Paimon nervous.
We're making Paimon says everybody else who doesn't know how to discuss anything. Okay.
You're finally done.
We're breaking God out of prison.
I have some other stuff to take care of. Catch you all later.
Okay.
Come on, don't give me that face. I know what you're going to say. I'll be careful.
Wait, you gonna ask her not to be reckless as well?
That's what I wanted to hear.
Because
Take
that's
care.
okay. All I want to hear is that, even if you don't have to do it. And then Paimon and
Well, traveler, Paimon, judging from your expressions, the meeting must have been quite productive.
We gotta break God out of prison. How are we gonna do that? Are we also gonna get in prison? Are we gonna have to convince the Academia to frickin' let up and stop throwing God in prison because, like, I know it's a metaphor for like, rational knowledge, but you don't have to go that far by doing it literally.
You can tell?
I'm not that good at scheming or strategy, but I can sense people's emotions. And based on your reaction, things must have gone quite well.
We'll make our move on the next Inargabar day. What? Jinargadbar. What? What the hell?
Paimon's a little worried. Hopefully nothing will go wrong.
Until it does, and then I have to make a reckless move, and you're gonna say you should have made the reckless move. Also, what the hell is a Jinargaba day?
To be honest, I feel the same. But you're already some of the most capable people I know. So you have my trust.
You were like the next. how many times does this happen? 9 or 10? Of people who are like, I don't trust you. A few days later, I trust you.
Candace gave us a compliment.
What? What? You took it like you're socially awkward. You've taken compliments before and you're like, oh, then you do take his compliment.
Your deeds speak for themselves.
Sure.
Candace, we stayed behind to tell you that, although you won't be coming with us, we'll be sure to remember your words.
Why is she not coming with us? Because she's not good at strategy. Why is she not good at strategy? Who knows?
I'm very glad to hear that.
I appreciate what you say, even though you're not going to be there to say it again.
I've said the same thing to everyone here today as I said to you when you arrived. Your safety is the most important thing.
Oh god, is this one of those things where it's like somebody's gonna get killed off sort of scenario and you're trying to expect everybody to not be reckless? You're just worried about everybody, is that the reason? Also the idea of safety.
Only when you're safe can the plan be successful. So please, take care.
Okay.
You're welcome. And thank you for taking my advice.
And thank you for not freaking getting too damn reckless.
Good luck.
Fine. And that's it. Nothing else was said. Meet up with Althayekam. Everybody's quiet because they know what they gotta do. They gotta break God out of prison.
Sounds good. I'll go make some preparations.
Okay.
I'll hit them.
Have you finished saying your goodbyes?
Wait, what? That was a goodbye?
Yeah. Also, Candace told everyone to be careful.
Yes, she did. But I think my point also bears repeating.
Which is?
Our plan is not child's play. We won't be able to achieve anything if we're simply careful. We must go beyond that and fully commit ourselves to it.
Are you gonna ask us to be reckless?
I hope this is clear to you.
To go beyond are you asking me to be reckless?
Huh? Shouldn't you be saying something more cheerful to boost our morale right now?
Do you honestly expect someone like him to boost everybody's morale? Because if anything, the fault is on you for thinking that.
Didn't we already do that during the meeting?
You can never have enough words of encouragement.
So why ask for more if there's never enough?
In that case, Candace can cuddle you to your heart's content while I continue to remind you of the seriousness of our situation.
You want to be emotional? Go in the corner somewhere and cry it off!
We all have our jobs to do after all. It's like how some people can be put in charge of logistics while others will fight on the front lines.
Speaking of the front lines, you don't look anything like a soldier.
Yeah, well, it talks like one, so I really wonder.
Of course. Compared to the mercenaries, I'm merely a feeble scholar. But the advantage of not being a mercenary is that I get to stay in a safer place and offer my strategic insight. Just think about that mercenary who lost his mind. Mercenary groups are facing constant danger every single day.
You don't get the brunt of the front lines.
Well, being a scholar is also a high-risk occupation. And you are a scholar!
Wait, what? How is it a high-risk occupation?
I'm not like the rest of them. Even among members of the same species, some will exhibit far more potential than others.
Interesting, you said the rest of them, even among members of the same species, some... What? You're referring to yourself as a species, and then you're saying some have more far potential? I don't know, I look at that statement and is that Orwell? Some are more equal than others?
This guy. Paimon still remembers when those mercenaries in Port Ormos called you a lunatic.
Perhaps a poor choice of words. I'm pretty sure he's more than that.
All intellectuals are lunatics in the eyes of fools. I'll take that as a compliment. Do you remember the record we saw in the King Deshret ruins? It mentioned forbidden knowledge.
The part about the Lesser Lord and the Greater Lord being the same? Sorry, I don't remember anymore. But I would like to hear it.
Wait. Seriously? Remember? Come on. It was a remnant of King Deshret's bygone civilization, and we found some messages left by a priest of the king, and learned about the existence of forbidden knowledge.
Oh, it's all coming back!
When time passes and I'm doing other things, I usually forget the last thing. If I have to go from a Sumeru thing to an Inazuma thing, I'm gonna forget the Sumeru thing.
Forbidden knowledge has the power to drive people insane, but this fact has never been shared with the public. Even I, who has worked in the academia for some time, was never once informed of this.
Okay, because I'm a one-track-minded person.
I think those mad scholars and mercenaries we encountered may have all fallen victim to the corrupting qualities of forbidden knowledge. But the academia has always held a different view. They've always believed that symptoms of madness are a side effect of human contact with divine knowledge as mere mortals.
Yeah, well, how come we didn't go mad?
Come to think of it, perhaps the academia has also never understood the true nature of forbidden knowledge, and thus always approached the issue from the wrong direction.
So, they were wrong? If it's not divine forbidden knowledge, then what is it?
The Withering, Elazar, and the Sandstorms. Don't you think what is happening right now across Sumeru is rather similar to the forbidden knowledge pollution that occurred in the desert thousands of years ago?
Are you saying we're gonna have to do the same thing that Nihida did before she had to revert to her childlike status? But instead, we're gonna have to deal with the source again without tearing ourselves apart? Yes.
But Paimon thought that Irminsul's disease is what caused the withering in the sandstorm. At least, that's what Tainari told us. Wait a second. Could it be that...
Ah, you've connected the dots. The cause of Irminsul's illness may precisely be the pollution from forbidden knowledge.
But if that's the case, what should we do? This is huge!
We must tell Nihida about this as soon as possible, but somehow break her out of prison.
Wait. Why do you think Lesser Lord Kusanali would have a solution to this situation?
Contained within the remaining, she said, the key to saving Irminsul is contained within the remaining consciousness of Greater Lord Rukavada.
You mean, it's related to the scene you saw when you passed out in the Avidia forest? That whole, the world forgetting thing?
Maybe.
In that case, it's imperative that we rescue Lesser Lord Kusanali. Only by working with her to save Irminsul can we completely resolve the problems Sumeru currently faces.
Okay, drugs are the solution. Wow, this problem is taking on a beer problem. Beer is the problem, now beer is the solution. Drugs are the problem, now drugs are the solution.
To make sure we're still on track, I would like to check on the state of some of our preparatory work.
Where are we going?
To an Eremite base.
Okay, why are we going there? Why can't we go get Nihida? Oop.
They're here.
Yes, we are. And you are too.
Huh? What are they doing here?
I gave them some technical work to do.
The people who were...
Ah, it's the scribe. And is that the traveler I see?
I can barely remember. The guys who were involved in the Forbidden Knowledge capsules.
How's the work going?
Ah, yes! We have fixed the devices according to your instructions. One of them is already ready for use, while the others are still under repair.
Okay, that looks like a helmet. Why is there a helmet here?
Aren't those devices for can knowledge extraction?
Look here.
Yeah?
Huh? More can knowledge? Are you going to put more weird stuff into her head again?
What's that look on your face? Are you scared?
You want to see what happens?
Paimon's a little scared, but very, very, very...
That's an interesting response. Anyway, we're not going to use this just yet.
What is it?
As I mentioned during the meeting, this knowledge capsule contains a decree I drew up in the past. The academia should also have their own copy. And according to the plan we just came up with, Traveler, I want you to record something into this capsule.
So, the headset is a recorder? Record what? I record pretty much everything.
Do you believe we can save Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes! Because I gotta do something about the Fatui again, and again.
Good. Conviction is the most important part of all of this.
Yeah, well, if there's anything I learned about the basics for conviction, especially in a prosecutorial law approach, you need motive, opportunity, hard evidence, and a confession. So, maybe that's a whole other story, but you get the idea.
Now, please get ready.
You want us to record our conviction into the knowledge capsule?
Wait, that thing it extracts?
Yes.
Paimon is still really worried.
Okay. Why? Because you're worried whether or not we have conviction? Or you're worried whether or not we won't? Or you're worried whether or not the idea of conviction can somehow be conceptualized through a canned knowledge device, which would still be present as an abstract concept?
I understand. But trust me, Paimon, this is something we have to do.
There's something we have to do.
To achieve this impossible task, it sounds like you'll need to fool your own heart first. Although it may feel like a trick, self-encouragement may be the most important tool we have.
In other words, intrinsic motivation.
Paimon can see the point you're trying to make.
Almost. Alright, I gotta put on the frickin' recording device.
Imagine this. We have orchestrated our plan and successfully rescued Lesser Lord Kusanali. As a result, we have changed Sumeru's entire political landscape.
Ooh.
Everything went without a hitch, and everyone recognizes and praises our achievements.
Okay... But that...
Now, open your eyes. Here.
Wait, do we actually...
What's this?
Is that the...
Read it out loud.
Some words, certain words that are written on the note. Although you don't quite understand the purpose of the recording, you follow all Thaim's instructions.
It's done.
What a fascinating experience.
Is your head okay? Does anything hurt?
No.
It's just a recording. There should be no negative effects.
But what was the point of doing this? Paimon doesn't get it.
I don't know, something feels off about this. Like, why record it? What's the whole purpose? Are we trying to give ourselves word of experience? Or just, like, encouraging thoughts as we go into something?
And that's perfectly fine. In any case, these capsules aren't meant to be used by you.
So Paimon can't use it. Gee, I wonder why.
Huh? What do you mean?
Because they're not a child size?
Have you forgotten? Our plan needs to account for those who have long relied on the Akasha. You may find it hard to believe, but for those people, everything the Akasha transmits to them is nothing short of absolute truth.
What?
Imagine if you've been using a device like the Akasha since the day you were born. And this device has always supported you during times of need.
So it's like a default thing where you've just relied on it your whole entire life.
After all that time, what do you think you'd become?
A hive mind? Without a sense of purpose?
A fool? A machine?
A slave to orders.
That's one way to have a metaphor for doublethink, like an Orwellian thing. And I really feel like we are having an Orwellian thing here.
And that's why rules are so important.
I agree.
In addition, those who understand the rules can delineate boundaries and identify gray areas.
But why would you need to identify the gray areas?
Because sometimes rules don't account for everything and you need to... Like, sometimes there are loopholes within rules.
You could say that those kinds of ambiguous zones can be very interesting. One might even say they're advantageous in the right hands.
Things you're interested in are really out there.
Anyway, that's enough chit-chat. I'm going to take those two to work on some small projects. You can head to Caravan Rebot and start preparing for the next step.
What are we doing, and how is this going to involve getting Nahida out of that prison?
Small projects?
We're going to tinker with the Akasha terminal and make a few modifications.
Are we gonna somehow hack into the Akasha terminal and then figure out, like, how, like, information that actually might help us get in there? Okay.
One need not scry to
No.
know today's weather will be
Stop talking.
I thought we agreed on a plan. How can you go back on your word?
What was the plan? How is he going back on his word?
The plan is too radical and carries a high risk for casualties. I've given it a lot of thought. And in the end, I still can't agree to it.
Is he doing it because he's he wants to be safe, or is it because of Candace?
But it's still the best plan we have. As a former Matra, you of all people should be able to see the bigger picture and recognize the innate advantages of our plan.
I did. And that's how I saw the danger behind these so-called advantages. Hatham's plan is even more radical than I imagined.
I get the feeling he wants us to be reckless.
Huh? Why are you guys arguing?
My friend, you're just in time. Why don't you help me?
We agreed to work out a plan at the meeting. As mercenaries, you're familiar with the local environment, so you'll take care of the specifics. But then, you went to Hatham for suggestion. Had I known Hatham would give you those kinds of suggestions, I would not have agreed to the plan.
Look, you already know that we're all on the same side here, don't you?
Yeah, but different approaches and different techniques, so safety or not safety.
Mercenaries place a lot of importance on their bonds of friendship, but also will not hesitate to make sacrifices if they deem the situation to be sufficiently dire. I'm sorry, but as things stand, I can't accept your principles.
Seems you really do understand the ways of the desert.
Traveler, Paimon. This is also something you should know. Rahman's plan is to have me work with the Caravan Reebok guards, in my capacity as a Matra. We will arrest the mercenaries and escort them into Sumeru City.
Wait, how can we work with the guard?
We can't get through that wall easily, remember? Caravan Reebok would never let so many unregistered members of the Eremites enter Sumeru City.
Because... I don't know what to say at this point.
My plan will clear us of any possible suspicion, and also let us enter the city as a big group. There is no better way.
Yeah, but... you're kind of just engaging some safety protocols.
That also sounds like something Hatham told you. Am I right?
Doesn't Hatham know how dangerous this plan is?
Of course he does. He told me. There is no perfect plan, but this can get the job done.
I really feel like we're taking a metaphor of to be safe or not be safe. Or more like Mass Effect, to be a paragon or to be a renegade.
He also said that with the help of Sino and the Traveler, our chance of success would increase significantly.
But our chance of success, like, there still would be some chance of success. Why would you need to increase it even more?
I never blindly trust anyone, and I've always had a good eye for people. I think he made a number of valid points. It's my own choice to trust you.
If I make the arrests alone, I can control myself and prevent you from getting hurt. But I can't guarantee that kind of discipline from the guards. To make the whole thing more convincing, you'll need to resist to some degree. Casualties are inevitable once push comes to shove.
So... we need... what? The plan involves,
I'm okay with the deaths of enemies. But now that we're allies, I'm against the meaningless laws of our own.
Imagine if that was brought all across the board to everybody.
I can't believe a Matra would actually care about us. I've lived a hard life, and I can say that people like you are hard to come by.
I've always treated my allies with honesty and respect. They have the right to know important things like this.
Now you're making this hard for me.
Yeah, because you made it hard for him. So, you want to put it on him? Or you want to be able to take it on you?
Hey, is there something we can do to help?
I can help. I know what I'm doing.
I knew you would say that.
Why? Because you couldn't decide, so it's like, you know what? Fine! I'll take the decision!
We can help fight some of the mercenaries.
Sino, on behalf of my people, I thank you for your kindness. But this is a mission we cannot turn our backs on. We strongly value the lives of our friends, but the goal we are about to achieve is even more important.
Yeah, well, I don't think you should always consider the ends justify the means approach in order to disregard safety.
We have no fear of casualties, because we crave the spoils of victory. So please, lend us your support. We will show you the determination of us desert dwellers.
Well, now that you've put it that way, I can no longer refuse. But remember, you need to follow the plan and not do anything, since you and I both recognize the significance of this operation. There should be no more animosity between the followers of the Dendro Archon and those of King Deshret. Everyone's life is equally important.
Okay, you have a deal.
Okay.
The guards should be stationed in the courtyard nearby. You can find them there.
Yep. Hello.
Guards!
Guards! They're my guards!
General Mahamatra! To what do we owe the honor?
Keep your voice down. This is a secret operation. I'm going to arrest a large criminal gang near this location. According to the Academia's Guide and Regulations on Secret Operations, I have the right to ask for the cooperation of Caravan Rebot.
Ah, of course. Mahamatra Sino's order is the Academia's order. Just let us know what you need.
Okay.
But who exactly are you planning to arrest, and how many people are you expecting? Depending on the scale of this operation, we may need to report it to our superiors.
You want to keep this under the radar, because we're trying to do a sneak-in.
They're a squad of Eremites whose number is comparable to Ain el Akhmar in Port Ormos. They're involved in the theft and resale of supplies from the Academia.
Now I'm kind of getting the idea. In order to break... We're doing a prison break by getting somebody into prison.
As many as Ain el Akhmar. This should definitely be classified as a joint operation.
So, are you gonna let your superiors know?
And I suggest that you report this to your superiors as soon as possible. And treat it as a top priority desert operation.
Got it. Please wait a moment. I'll contact them immediately.
Because this is work.
Because this is work, he looks commanding me working. Because this is work, I'm here to work, damn it! Much more friendly to us.
Because I trust you.
Because whatever it's did, you do this. Because reasons!
Paimon can't believe you're still in the mood to chat. This whole thing has Paimon scared stiff.
When you're attempting, it's basically a prison break. The Traveler knows the Dendro Archon, aka Nahida, is in some type of prison inside of the Academia Sanctuary. And in order to break in, we gotta bring somebody in. Deep undercover.
Aren't you even a little worried? What if these guards already know that you have betrayed the Academia and are no longer their General Mahamatra? Even if that guard doesn't know, their superiors might, right?
We discussed this, remember?
So, who are they gonna report to?
The Caravan Rebot operation is of great importance. But don't worry, the guards there shouldn't know that Sino has stepped down.
But the superiors do, but...
How can you be so sure?
First, the other Matra still don't know why Sino has left, which proves that
been covering up, which proves that the Academia has been covering up the matter.
Second, this is a crucial moment for the Academia's God creation plan. If something were to happen to the General Mahamatra, it's bound to attract a lot of unwanted attention.
So, the whole purpose is to get those guards to attract the attention.
No matter how you look at it, they don't seem interested in sharing the news of Sino's departure.
A reasonable inference. I agree.
Which brings us to our next issue. I'm sure some of you have been wondering if the prediction function of the Akasha will affect our operation.
The Akasha is still in operation, so I must remain on high alert, actually. Considering the power of the Akasha, it's quite strange that it hasn't already tried to interfere with my actions.
Wait, what?
I've given that a lot of thought. For now, I don't think you'll need to worry.
Interesting, he hasn't been... I'm just wondering what he's... Like, I haven't seen Sino wear an Akasha at all.
If you remember, when you first came to Aru Village, all your actions and routes were predicted by the Akasha. It even gave that information to those who kidnapped the village keepers.
Okay.
But, things like that never happened again after we met up with the Traveler.
Yeah, because we were a monkey wrench in the whole entire system.
That's true. But why?
Because we are an unknown element, aka a wild card, and sometimes we just screw things up and see how it works from there.
Look at it from a different angle. Why do you think the Akasha will predict your actions?
Because it predicts only things it doesn't know, and not things it doesn't know?
Because my personal data has been entered into the Akasha.
That's true, but the key to this question is, how well can the Akasha make predictions about a person?
Only based on how much information the person has input to the Akasha compared to anybody else. So anybody else wearing an Akasha, has used the Akasha for so long, but the Traveler hasn't.
Haven't you ever thought about it? Just how can it do this in the first place?
Database. Big hard drive, somewhere in the Academia.
Because the Akasha controls the entirety of Sumeru.
Or that.
The Academia firmly believes that all human actions can be explained through logic.
Nope, sometimes people have emotions and authority, and sometimes things happen on their own.
By sorting and analyzing entered data, the Akasha can derive behavioral logic and predict the actions of those who fit an existing logic model. However, at the risk of sounding like an advocate for fallacies, can everyone truly be considered logical at all times?
No. I would know. There are some people I've seen who are not logical.
Emotions are part of our behavioral logic. But can you guarantee that every experience of the same joy or pain would be equally intense? How can our feelings and opinions be predictable down to the letter in every single instance?
Because it's relative, and people have different experiences and at different feelings at different intensities.
Sino, in the past, you've always worked alone. In the absence of another person who could sway you or your thoughts, the Akasha could produce predictions that were similar to your real-life behavioral principles.
Yeah, but when you're working with... Oh! I kinda get it now. I kinda see what's going on here. Compared to him working alone before, he's working with other people. So in other words, something about the behavioral part, because Sino is working with other people, the Akasha is not going to be able to make predictions when he's with other people compared to when he was alone. So...
Decisive and principled, you were used to solving problems alone. That's why the Akasha could figure you out.
But now he's in a social situation where he has to deal with other people. So now what?
But now, you've joined a team. And I believe the Akasha hasn't yet figured out the full composition of it. Our thoughts and logic have intermingled and weaved themselves together to become a complicated, chaotic mess. Any one of us could potentially disagree with another. The Akasha lacks data on these interactions, and it's impossible for it to predict your actions in the future based on your decisions in the past. After all, there's probably a limit to just how much we can be modeled or controlled by data. So, in my opinion, you're probably safe for now.
Makes sense to me. I agree. The Akasha is not alive, and I don't think we can be completely controlled by something without a mind of its own.
Is that so?
So Sino is being used to fly under the radar for the Akasha because it won't be able to predict Sino's movements.
I guess there are things that even the Akasha cannot calculate. And people will not be forever.
So that's why.
I'm so glad that this is settled.
But why are we using Sino to fly under the radar?
Next time, pay attention during our meetings.
Maybe if everything didn't happen so fast, and there was like, okay, we're done. Yeah.
Will do.
Okay. I'm confident we can do this. Okay. So, because Sino is in a different position, but are we gonna deal with Is everybody acting out of character in order to circumvent or go fly under the radar through the Akasha's predictions? And if that's the case, then what?
Just remember to stay vigilant.
Footsteps!
General Mahamatra, we were not expecting your presence here.
So, someone came back.
I'm the security officer of the Great Red Sand District. My name is Luxembarba.
This is my assistant, the Traveler. She will be working with me. The construct next to her is for her work.
The construct. Wow, Paimon referred to as a construct.
Beep, construct.
What a great honor to meet you.
God.
Your golden hair is as bright as the sun. And, is this the latest technology from the Academia?
Dear God. Nice to meet you too.
Have you made a decision regarding the matter I mentioned to your subordinate?
It seems to be a dire situation, so of course you will have our full cooperation. To be perfectly honest, I've always longed to go on a mission with someone as well known as yourself.
There's no need for flattery.
Yes, sir.
Take your most elite platoon and follow me to the eastern side of the district. We will carry out the operation.
Understood.
Map.
Okay. Map!
Hurry, bring the map.
Circles location of the
In
operation
2
tonight.
days, we will engage Ramon's Eremites and capture all of them. Any questions about the time or location?
None at all, sir.
Good. See you then.
Yes, sir.
And nobody's the wiser, because I assume everybody within this platoon, or a core of 30s...
Maybe hanging around the General Mahamatra isn't so bad after all. Everyone's so respectful towards us.
This is all due to the absolute authority of the Academia. And now, we're going to strike back against that massive pillar of power. Get ready. We will move out in 2 days.
Okay, and the dead look in the Traveler's eyes. Dear God.
Divination.
It's time for the operation. Let's go meet Sino.
Fine. Hello. There you are. Where are they at?
Over there. Our helpers have arrived already. Let's hurry over.
Fine.
Wait a moment.
Okay.
Ah! Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
You're my assistant, remember?
Yes.
Being my assistant, you must stay with me. Now let's head over there.
Okay.
It's General Mahamatra and his assistants.
You're here early.
Even though we're in the Middle East. But then again, I'm pretty sure the Greeks have been around in the Middle East.
It's to show how important we think the operation is. Since this is a big case for the Academia, we are prepared to give it our best.
I'm glad to hear your sense of resolve. They are our only leads for the case. If they die, we will be unable to continue the investigation.
Understood.
Everyone! The Eremites are approaching from the west!
Make preparations and be ready for combat.
Okay. We're gonna have to be convincing.
Oh? What a warm welcome! What do you want? Judging from those shiny weapons in your hands, it seems like you're not interested in a deal.
Ramon, the Academia has caught wind of your smuggling and illicit sales. If you value your life, I advise you to surrender.
Who are you supposed to be? A Matra from the Academia? I can't believe you came all this way just to catch us.
Around and pretend I'm here to kill you.
Oh, nobody's given me this much time of day since I became a mercenary. Brothers! For that slight, let's wash our blades with their blood. Let's...
Okay. Now.
Shadows of fate emerge right here, right now. Fate is upon you. Germinate! Let me scry. Right here, emerge. Right now.
Come on, give me my hopper boom. Good enough. Good enough. Done. Who? More of them.
Decided by destiny. I'm always watching.
I'm always watching the frickin' lightning.
Scatter! Delve into destiny. Right here, emerge. Spring forth!
Three. Done. More of them? No? That could be it.
Right here, emerge, right now. Propagate!
Come on. Boom.
Emerge. Right here. Right now. Scatter! Written in the stars. Emerge.
Where are they at? Where's the last one? Oh, here it is.
Germinate! Come on out. Right here. Right now.
Boom.
It's over.
We have subdued them. The operation is now over. All Aramite mercenaries and related personnel in the area have been arrested.
You pitiful Dendro Archon!
I'm afraid you'll regret it first.
King Jeshret will curse you, and you will all!
Okay.
Silence!
Oh!
Dang.
Restrain them and take them back to Caravan Rebot. Count their numbers and send them to the Academia as instructed by the General Mahamad.
Yes, sir!
They would earn Oscars.
Mahamatra Sino, I will now take my leave. If you need further assistance, please come to Caravan Rebot and ask for me.
For putting on a good show.
Understood. You are dismissed.
I'll take it from here.
There they go.
Yes, they did.
Let's talk elsewhere.
I found a safe place free and potential eavesdroppers and beginning your conversation.
This part of the plan went really well.
Yeah, so we're using them to get inside the sanctuary for interrogation?
Yes. Things went perfectly.
That's fantastic! And that punch you gave Ramon there sure looked convincing enough.
Once we're done here, I'll return to Caravan Rebot and oversee the group's transport. I promise. I'll get everyone into Sumeru City safely.
Yeah, you're the reason why everything went so well.
It's not the time to celebrate yet. I believe Dia should already be waiting for you. Go join up with her. She will need you to introduce her to Tainari.
Speaking of which, is it really okay for us not to share the full plan with Tainari? What if he'll feel miffed about it and refuse to work with us?
What if he has his own reasons?
I have a very close relationship with Tainari. Given how well we know each other, I believe my message alone should be enough to bring him to our side. He knows I won't make jokes about things like this.
Because you're taking his... Well, because... Like, he's asked you to not be so serious, so...
If we need help, Tainari is the best option. Get ready for the next phase of the plan. Don't keep them waiting.
Okay!